and they're so strongly behind something that's artistic. And it seems to me that it's a really lovely example of, of the creative community, having a really important impact on the economy more generally. And not that you want to make it strictly about dollars and cents, but dollars and cents are important.
It's absolutely important because, the arts need money to survive. And a not-for-profit theatre company needs ardent sponsorship. It needs support from all levels of government at some stage. But the economic impact of the Shore Festival in the town and the region, it's the biggest employer. It injects more money into the region's economy than any other industry. And that multiplier effect of the arts is significant in Canada as a whole. People are surprised when they learn how much the arts contribute to the economy of the country. So it employs a lot of people. So that is all significant. But especially today, where I think the souls of people seem to be under stress, there's a lot more sort of emotional violence around, especially in North America. The arts become the salve, the balm, and almost the salvation of humanity, or one of them. So in that respect, it is really wonderful to be involved in all of that.
And Sanjiv, following on from that, I mean, really struck here by what's been done in terms of, what's a huge economic business proposition, but how integral the support of the arts in general, but also of artists, and a large number of artists is, are supported here. But also with a group that, when I was last living here, Bentota Beach Hotel was, such a landmark that the investment was made to renovate and support and promote that. Again, can you, like Ian, reflect a little bit on that nexus between business and the creative economy and what it means in a Sri Lankan context?
So let me start with saying this, because I think if I was going back to be 19 again, or 18, the landscape was very different, because we didn't have pretty much a lot of what we have today, and where we are today as far as the starting point, and the resources, and the proudness we have for our culture, our heritage, and the place we live in. I think we kind of took it for granted, or maybe we were not in touch because the internet was not alive as much as it was, right? But we knew. Ian was saying he just had lunch with Ismat Rahim, right? And legend. But now when you Google him, you know him, and I can talk to these young ones over here and the back there. It's like they can Google and find out, and they can find the vibe of what Sri Lanka was. My feelings, John Keels, which is one of the biggest companies in Sri Lanka, highly engaged with obviously a $1.4 billion investment of this property. We have over 1,000 pieces of art. My life, apart from running a hotel and a facility like this, I tell my team, we don't have a check-in, check-out hotel. We have a living, breathing ecosystem now, which I get, like Linda, who calls me, you gotta make this happen, you gotta make this happen, AOD, and I now know why you gotta make this happen. There are other great groups of people who are so wanting to do great things in Sri Lanka, and that's not in art. There's fashion, there's motorsports, there's sports, there's food and culinary, there's dance, all the factors coming in at a massive, it's sort of like coming like a tornado at us right now. We've just got to figure out how do we help everyone and assist everyone in some way or form so that we can continue the journey of of helping and safeguarding our past, but also exciting people to continue the journey to evolve the future. And I feel one of the things, if I was to take my world of traveling all over the world, coming back to Sri Lanka has been tough for me personally. It's not been easy for me to integrate back in. One would think, oh, you're coming back and Sri Lanka is beautiful and everything is great, and I'm a Sri Lankan. It's been tough. I'll tell you why it's been tough. It's tough in a beautiful way. It's beautiful because it's at the early stages of this incredible migration of culture and ideas and thoughts and art and spirit and everything you can think about. And you have this young generation who are excited at what they see from the outside, but they do not know how to evolve it. They've not been out. So when I see, like, I get goosebumps talking about my staff. When I know and I speak to them, I have a meeting every month with 200 team members. We have 3,000 employees here, team members here, but I have like 200 or 50 managers meeting. And I ask them, where are you from? And they're from Anuradhapura, Overnath, from Jaffna, from down south. And I talk to them. They have no idea, absolutely no idea about lifestyle when it comes to running hotels, in my context, or doing an event, or even having a clean bathroom. And we train them to do all that. And my point here is that as a person who's coming from outside, building a fabric, building an architecture of attracting talent back to Sri Lanka is key to be able to evolve. But one thing which I sometimes sort of encourage some of our team members coming back from Dubai, wherever, don't try to change things here. Build on what has been built, but influence it and open the eyes of all the wonderful people here by showing them through inspiration and love. Because if you show love and inspiration, you can create anything you want, because you bring Sri Lankan work from the heart, sometimes not from here. They work from here. If you get their spirit, it's like a rocket. They just do anything for you. So I think, that's kind of my experience with the whole fabric of what's happening today and the movement which is happening today. And I think it's a wonderful movement, and I think it's going to continue to be something exceptional. And we're going to be so proud. We need more companies safeguarding and investing into what Ian's doing and into programs of art, culture, and everything. John Keats does that, I must say, very well. But there are many more companies which can get more involved, of course. But they also need to have more passion for it as well.
So just on that point then, Sanjiv, in terms of the vision, and a lot of the theme of this series is about a vision for Sri Lanka, and you've touched on elements of that. But your vision for a prosperous, successful Sri Lanka from that, the perspective you have, which is a very international one, just elaborate on that one a little bit further, and then I'll ask Ian as well on the vision thing, which I think is so important.
Yeah, for my vision, not my vision, but I think the evolutionary vision for Sri Lanka will be one day to have a place where we really treasure our past and celebrate our differences and create connectivity within our own cultural differences. If you're Tamil, if you're Sinhalese, if you're Dutch burger, if you're Muslim, I think it's a wonderful fabric. And when I see the magic of a piece of art being drawn, I think that's the vision of a fusion of an incredible layer. There's no place like Sri Lanka in the world today which has the fabric of the various different cultures and differences of minorities. India is very different. Go to Damascus, Syria is very different. Middle East is different. Here it's a very distinct set of ingredients which is all come together. And I think Sri Lanka in the future is going to be not just a place where we make money by doing things, it's going to be a place where people come and be excited to learn about the ocean, about the culture, the mountains, the spirituality of the place.
I've been re-engaged with Sri Lanka through the serendipitous introduction to Linda and another young entrepreneur. I was introduced to both of them and asked if I could advise and help them establish a beachhead in Canada. That has led me to understand what a dynamic sort of revolution of youth that's happening here. And the one thing you always feel when you're Sri Lankan, and people like me epitomize it, you leave if you don't find opportunity. But now you see opportunities evolving here. There's a battery of young, highly qualified graduates who are not getting out to emigrate. They're getting out to build, to become entrepreneurs, to start up businesses. That is really exciting. So I've discovered it through the introduction to those two people, and I've found that to be the most inspiring thing. And being here at this conference has, again, opened my eyes and opened my heart to this real phenomenon that I think is going to define this place for many years to come.
That's lovely. So Jindy has given me a wind-up, but I did promise that this would be interactive. So just one, does anyone in the audience have a question they really wanted to ask or a comment as well? I feel like I should be asking. Craig had his hand, now he's been cut. Okay, all right. I had my writing instruction.
If I can just say one thing.
No,
there's a wonderful lady there called Ashi who makes the most incredible cookies. Right? She's Sri Lankan, actually from lived in the UK, came back, has a wonderful business. Like Linda, a woman in leadership. I buy cookies from her. Every time I put a couple of her cookies in one of the restaurants, it sells within seconds. The love, the spirit, the joy she puts in these cookies. These are great stories of an incredible way of building people who come back and want to start a business, going back to what Ian said, which I think is really wonderful. And I wanted to point that out if that's okay.
That's fine. And no, terrific. Ian, any last comments before we wind up? Anything that I didn't ask you that I really should have asked you that, last words, particularly I think because these talks are very much aimed at that next generation, and I see often along the back all of our brilliant young students, and just to say that for those of us who are of a different generation, we find so much inspiration from you and what you're doing, to see your amazing work. It's the reason I keep coming back. And thank you, Linda, and to AOD for believing in that. But you are truly inspiring, huh? And so, any last words, Ian?
No, if I were to say anything, I'd just reiterate what I said before, that this trip has been a really enlightening discovery of this budding phenomenon led by youth who are full of purpose, full of education, and full of desire, and that I think defines this country today. So we are inspired by what we've seen on this trip, and so much so that actually Becky said, if you were to live in Sri Lanka, where would you live? That was a hypothetical question that I think was a leading edge. So it's good to be back.
All right, thank you very much for that very inspiring discussion. I think it's actually truly inspiring to hear two such successful, established people reconnecting and wanting to identify as Sri Lankan, to keep coming back, to keep building and to keep contributing to Sri Lanka, because it is home. So thank you very much, and of course Victoria for guiding this conversation and this discussion. Thank you very much, and thank you for our audience as well. I think we are all awaiting the next fireside chat we have as well with Yavan David. Just a quick wrap up to this discussion. A quick thank you once again to our panelists and our moderator, and a shout out to our sponsors for making this possible. Thank you.